Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts. And I'm excited to kick off Season 2 of our podcast series in partnership with Rappahannock Electric Cooperative. It's called We Are REC. Every week we'll release a new episode talking to different people from REC about a host of different topics. We'll get tips for saving money on your electric bill. We'll talk about renewable energy and the impact it can have in our communities. We'll get some behind-the-scenes info about what happens when the power goes out in a storm. Don't miss out on information about community grants, scholarships, REC-hosted events, and more. Get every single episode on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or on Spotify. Just do a quick search for We Are REC. Hello and welcome to the Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Monday as you are listening to the show. We, however, have pre-recorded our conversation on a Thursday afternoon over Zoom. We are going to be chatting today with Donna Buckland. She is the Director of Child and Family Development for People Inc. And the reason that Donna is here is because recently People Inc. have, Donna, is the right phrase, taken over what you guys are now going to be running the Head Start program in Winchester, Frederick, and Clarke counties. What's the proper phrase for that?
We are assuming operations of the program.
Head Start programs are not new to People Inc. You guys have been doing this for many, many years in a lot of different areas, right?
Yes. People Incorporated was one of the first community action agencies in Virginia, and we received one of the first Head Start grants back in 1965. So this has been, I was not there at the time, but yeah, so we have been doing this for the agency has been doing this for a very long time.
Explain to me, what is the Head Start program? I mean, is it preschool? Is it something a little bit more involved than preschool? How does Head Start work? What is it?
Well, Head Start is a program funded through the federal government to kind of, the name says it all, to help children get a head start before they enter kindergarten. Our focus is on children and families. So we call our program Child and Family Development, and the Head Start program serves children from the actual Head Start program serves children that are ages 3 and 4. And then there is an early Head Start program that serves children, from birth until they're ready to transition to Head Start. And through our home-based program, or through Head Start and early Head Start home-based, we serve prenatal moms as well. So we're really right there from the time that a mom might find out that she is having a baby, and we support parents to make sure that they have proper medical care and that kind of thing, and that they're ready. And then we work with the family and children, and we like to think of the parent as the child's first teacher, and we support them in that role. But for Frederick, Clarke, and Winchester, the program that we are assuming operations of starting in August here right now is a Head Start program, and it is center-based, and there are 3 and 4-year-olds and their families that are served through the program. Now, there's eligibility criteria related to being eligible for Head Start. There's income eligibility, and then some other categorical eligibility, like children with disabilities, or families that may be homeless, or families that are in children that are in foster care, that also are eligible for the program.
And you mentioned that this is family and child development, or child and family development. So this isn't your typical daycare. These parents are not just dropping these kids off, hoping somebody there at the center teaches them what they need to know to get ready for kindergarten. You really do include the parents in the development and the lessons and the growth of their child.
Well, yes, and actually that is a big part of Head Start. It's not just that we include the parents in the development of the lessons and that kind of thing, they are actually part of the governing body of every Head Start program. We have what we call a policy council, and that council is made up of the majority of the council are parents of children that are enrolled in the program, and and then at each center there's a parent committee, and we have a family advocate at each center, and that family advocate actually works to help families to set goals to support their children, and particularly around their children's work that they're doing in the program as well. So when we develop a lesson plan or we individualize for a child, we're not just doing that based on what we think the child needs, but we're really getting input from the parent as well as when we do that. So no, it's not typical childcare, and it's a very high quality program in that we have assessments that we do. We have an evidence-based curriculum that we use, and then the other piece of the work that we do that's important is we have a health component where we make sure that children get the types of screenings. We do hearing screenings, we do vision screenings, we do social emotional learning screenings. So all of those screenings happen within the first 45 days to 90 days of enrollment. We make sure children have their physicals. All of the centers are licensed through the Virginia Department of Social Services Child Care Licensing Program, and as well as we have Head Start program performance standards that we follow as well.
And you touched on this a second ago about the eligibility requirements, and one piece of that is income-based. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that being able to offer all of these additional services and these health screenings are an integral part to this particular type of community that you're serving.
Yes, it is. That's true. And we will also support parents to make sure that they're enrolled in whatever the medical insurance is that they qualify for. We'll help them to make sure that they have a medical home, that they make sure they have dental services. We do a couple dental screenings a year with children. We usually have dentists from the community who will provide in-kind services to make sure that all of our children get to see a dentist, where they may, reduce their fee, or they may accept whatever insurance that the families have. So, and that has historically been what has happened in the program that we have run prior to this. So as we start up the program here, one of the most important things that we are doing beyond, making sure we have staffing and that kind of thing, is making sure that we have strong community partners. And we're fortunate because the program has been in existence for a while, and there are strong partners that are already associated with the program, and we're excited to learn more about those partnerships.
Oh yeah, I think you'll find that's probably going to be one of the easiest pieces of this entire thing for you when you start putting all the pieces together. I serve on the board for the United Way of Northern Shenandoah Valley, and it never ceases to amaze me. The businesses, the individuals, the residents, and all of these organizations that really do all come together to serve any one need. When somebody says, hey, I need a little help with XYZ, there is always somebody there willing to help and see if they can lend a hand somehow.
Well, that makes me think this is important, I think, for parents to know this, as well as for community partners. And that is that for every $4 that we get funded from the federal government, we are actually required to raise $1 in non-federal match. And so all those partnerships, any of those funds, any of that support that's in kind, counts towards that. But also, every time a parent volunteers, as they participate on a policy council, their value is the same as the value of a director that we would have on our board of directors and that kind of thing. So they're not only investing in their child through their day-to-day work that they do with the children, but through the investment they make in the program, they're also investing in that child as well. So, and in this program as well.
And that's good to know too, because it really does, aside from the fact that, I know I, as a mom, would want to do whatever I could for my child, but it is nice to know that you're also helping a greater good, and maybe another mom who would like to be in a position like I am to volunteer and can't. It's kind of one of these, I got this, you go to work or you go do what you need to do. And it really does kind of bring the whole family together as a community.
Right. Exactly. That is true.
Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, can we talk a little bit about, I know you're in transition right now. You guys assumed responsibility on August 1st and schools are about to start. So can we talk a little bit about logistics, COVID-19, and how all of that is going to look in the coming weeks?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're going to do all of that in just a couple of minutes. We are having a conversation over Zoom today with Donna Buckland. She is the Director of Child and Family Development for People, Inc. They have recently, I almost said taken over again. They have recently assumed responsibility for the Head Start program that is covering Winchester, Frederick County, and Clarke County. We're going to chat more with Donna in just a couple of minutes.
Do you know anyone who is struggling with financial hardships because of coronavirus? Our new webinar called Coping with the Money Crunch can help. We'll talk about immediate options to consider, revising or creating a spending plan, and lots of community resources. Then we'll cover how to narrow your priorities, contact creditors, and avoid scams and risky loans. The webinar is free, and you can either join by phone or through Zoom on a smartphone, tablet, or computer. You can find out more by visiting the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program on Facebook or calling Karen Poff at 540-635-4549. Let me show you how to make your own plan or help someone you care about get through the crisis. Call 635-4549 or visit at NSV Financial Education on Facebook today.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. We are having a conversation over Zoom today with Donna Buckland. She is the Director of Child and Family Development for People, Inc. We were talking in the first segment about the Head Start program in Frederick, Clarke, and the city of Winchester that People, Inc. will be assuming responsibility for, or have actually, Donna. You guys kind of stepped in on August 1st. And before we talk about Head Start for a minute, though, can we talk for a second about People, Inc.? Because I don't know that a lot of people understand what People, Inc. does, and how is it that you were in this position in Winchester and Frederick County to be able to step in and manage the Head Start program?
Yes, thanks, Janet. That's a really good question. So People Incorporated is a community action agency. Community action agencies, like we talked about earlier, were started in 1965. They were the mission of People Incorporated is to provide opportunities for economically disadvantaged people to reach their goals in order to enhance their lives, their families, and their communities. So basically, what we do at People Incorporated is we develop programs for communities. We are involved in the community. We learn what the needs are, and then we work to meet the needs of families and individuals who will benefit from the work that we do. And so in Frederick and Clarke County, People Incorporated is the community action agency that serves Frederick and Clarke County. When we learned that the opportunity was there to provide Head Start services in Frederick County, Clarke County, and the city of Winchester, we were able to apply to the Office of Head Start to provide those services because we had a relationship in that community, because we provide services there. So that was really how we got started there, but the agency has been doing the work. We started out with five counties in Southwest Virginia. Now we serve 16 separate localities throughout Virginia, including the greater Piedmont area, northern Shenandoah Valley, and the Southwest Virginia service area.
You mentioned a second ago about the Head Start, the national. So this is a national program. This also isn't a program that communities just kind of say, hey, we need one, and you put it together. There is an overall agency that kind of says, this is how it's going to work, and this is what you have to do, that you have to follow their guidelines as well, right?
Yes. I mean, there are standards that we have to follow, but the thing that's kind of unique about Head Start is that it is locally driven. That's why they want the Office of Head Start asks that before you consider applying for funding to serve a community, that you be able to show that you have knowledge of that community, that you are part of that community, and community action agencies across the country are a good resource for Head Start programs. So yeah, but it's federal to local. So in other words, a community action agency, a school system, or an independent nonprofit can provide Head Start services. But the most important thing about that is that they have a relationship with community partners. They're actively working in those communities, and People Incorporated is doing that in every community that we serve.
You were explaining to me before we started recording for the radio show that typically Head Start programs are offered during the school year, so to speak. And right now, of course, we're in the middle of what would traditionally be a summer, and it's the summer of COVID, so It appears. So do you guys have to do extra things or special things? I mean, you kind of are a little bit lucky in that on August 1st, you didn't have students or kids in your facility, but that's just around the corner. What kinds of things are you guys having to do to prepare for COVID and the return to class?
Well, that is a really good question. We have been working actually in our program in Southwest Virginia. We serve 217 children through Head Start, and the majority of those children are served in a center-based program. But back in March, we were, with the governor's emergency order, we were all kind of thrown into an experience, extraordinary circumstances that we had to kind of hit the ground running with programming that would be able to support families and continue through the rest of our school year. So what we did at People Inc. is we worked virtually with families. We set up Google Classroom. We did some Facebook pages and did live Facebook. We had some Zoom classrooms. We ordered materials and had them sent directly to children's homes, to their parents, so that we could work with them. And this gave us kind of a crash course on how we could provide services virtually if we needed to. And believe me, it was it was like you jumped on a bicycle that was already moving and you just took off. But we have had some really good feedback from families about how they have been able to work with the teachers and the education staff in their classrooms to make that transition. And then through the summer, what we did is we have a whole group of component specialists and coordinators, because, and I don't know if we've talked a little bit about this, but Head Start, or we did talk about Head Start, actually has health component and mental health and disabilities and that sort of thing. So what we did was we started working on what a plan might look like for a phased in return to school this year. Because we've just taken on the responsibility for the Frederick, Clarke, and Winchester program. We also are working, we worked in the transition period with the grantee that was running the program up until August, to hear a little bit about what they did towards the end of the year. And what we hope to be able to do now that we have the program in place is to reach out to parents, which we have done in our other program, get some feedback from them through a survey about their comfort level with different types of programming, with virtual programming with a hybrid model, which I'm sure you've heard a lot of schools talking about, and then eventually face-to-face. When would that, what would that, when would they be comfortable with that? And so what we're doing is we're going to get feedback from them, feedback from staff as we bring the staff on to fill the positions we have open. And then we hope to be able to have a decision about how we will move forward. We have set September the 8th as the first day, that the earliest date that we would provide services. But those services could look very different than they would normally look. So they could be something virtual. It could be something where we are working more to support parents with what their need is as far as how they will be helping us to support their children during this, initial opening of school. And so we really do look to our school systems for guidance as well. Normally, we match the school system, what their schedule is, what their holidays are, the length of time. So really, at this point, just like I'm sure you've heard from many other, if you've talked to any school systems or anything like that, our main goal is to make sure that children and staff are safe and families are comfortable with whatever type of programming we end up providing. So that's kind of where we are right now.
And it's interesting too, because so many of the school systems in particular, but those that are dealing with children, I mean, there's an added layer. Obviously, you want to make sure that when you're going to have kids coming into your space, that they're going to be safe, that everything's going to be clean, that you're covering all of those protocols. But then there's the added level of making sure that your staff too is safe and that they're going to be okay coming to work every day. Whereas a lot of your businesses just have to worry about staff. They don't have this double layer of caution that they have to put up.
Right, exactly. And, all of the things that, we're following guidance from the CDC, we're following guidance from the Virginia Department of Health. We're, making sure that we work closely with the Virginia Early Childhood Foundation and with other early childhood coalitions to learn more about what the best practices are. A few Head Start programs in Virginia and just a very few actually ran pilot summer programs, mostly serving children of essential workers, and they're providing a lot of feedback as to what needs to be done. We certainly talk about making sure we have temperature checks in place, making sure we have a screening tool that we use for face-to-face interactions, ensuring that children have the appropriate amount of square footage. The Department of Social Services has made recommendations that significantly change the number of children that we would be able to have in a space, in a classroom space. So that's why we look at, well, maybe we would have to have a hybrid model where we did not serve every child every day, but we had the same cohort of children coming a couple days a week, then have some cleaning in between, and then other children coming in the second half of the week, because we want to make sure that whatever we do come up with, we don't have anything set in stone yet, but we want to make sure that whatever we come up with does meet all of the very safest requirements we can before we bring children and staff face to face. And like I said before, families used to have a very integral part of providing services, volunteering in the classroom and that kind of thing. But now we'll have to work to ensure that families feel connected if we get to face-to-face services. But we do want to make sure we're limiting the number of people that we have in a center or in a classroom.
So if somebody is listening to the show today and they want to get more information about the Head Start program in Frederick, Clarke, in the city of Winchester, or they want to enroll, or they want to see if they qualify, where is the best first place for them to go?
Well, People Incorporated has a website, and it's peopleinc.net. So that's peopleinc.net. If you go to peopleinc.net, there is a tab at the top of the website for child and family development. And at that tab will be a page where you can then access the Head Start application. And you can get some information there about Head Start. Our program there in Winchester, Frederick, and Clarke counties, we are staffing the program. We have the associate director has been hired, so we will have information on the website about how that person can be reached as well. So there should be information there, but peopleinc.net is how you can find out about all of the services that People Inc. offers, including the Head Start program.
And I know you guys also have Facebook pages. I know you have Twitter, because that's how I found you.
Oh, yeah. And actually, our Facebook and Twitter right now have been featuring the assumption of operations, or the takeover, as you refer to it, of the Head Start program there in Frederick, Clarke, and Winchester. And we're so excited to be able to provide this service and to start working with the community more closely, because child and family development is such an important piece of the work that People Inc. does. We have a whole family approach to all of our services. So this really helps us to get to know the community much better.
Well, Donna, thank you for not only just taking the time today to explain all of this to me and introduce me to the program, but thank you for the work that your program does. And I'm excited to kind of welcome you to the nonprofit community of all three counties.
Yes, and thank you so much for having us. This is a wonderful way to get the word out. We really appreciate it, Janet.
We are going to wrap up today's conversation. We have been chatting with Donna Buckland. She is the Director of Child and Family Development for People Inc. We have been chatting about the Head Start program for the city of Winchester, Frederick, and Clarke counties. I will put links to everything that Donna mentioned up on the show notes page. You can head over there to theriver953.com, choose the podcast tab, and all of that information is there right now. Tomorrow, of course, is Tourism Tuesday. I'm going to have a conversation with Dennis Lynch. He is going to tell us all about the different acts that are coming to the Shenandoah Valley Music Festival. It is still happening, and it's going to start in just a few weeks. Dennis is going to tell us all about that tomorrow. Meet me back here a few minutes after noon, and I will have that show ready to go for you.